at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Each year in the United States, millions of people participate in a mass ritual in consumerism that has come to be known as Black Friday. Many people decide to stay home and shop online, while many people decided to boycott the sales altogether. The most popular Black Friday boycott is known as Buy Nothing Day, and it's been going strong for 24 years now. The boycott was initially organized by Vancouver-based artist Ted Dave, who wanted to promote a day for society to examine the issue of overconsumption. That's a quote. The Mind Unleashed reports the first official boycott kicked off on the same day as Black Friday in 1997, and has spread all over the world in the decade since. Advocates of Buy Nothing Day say they hope to encourage mindfulness about consumption habits that will last for years to come. According to the National Retail Federation, more than 174 million Americans shopped from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday in 2016. The average amount that each shopper spent that year was around $335. A new study published by animal welfare group World Animal Protection has arrived at some stunning findings about pork products being sold at Walmart. The report, published by Food Dive, found that pork samples purchased from Walmart contained superbugs, antibiotic-resistant bacteria. 80% of samples tested from Mid-Atlantic Walmart stores were resistant to at least one antibiotic. Additionally, 37% of the bacteria in the Walmart samples were resistant to 3 or more classes of antibiotics. The Mind Unleashed reports that in some, about 27% of the resistant bacteria found on Walmart's pork were resistant to classes categorized as highest priority critically important antimicrobials by the World Health Organization. 160 samples of pork were tested by researchers at Texas Tech University. 80 were from Walmart, and 80 were from a competing national retail chain in the Mid-Atlantic region. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
House of Representatives Bill 323, the IHOP should stay open all night so we can get some pancakes act. This bill was submitted for immediate review very late last night under the provisions of the National Emergency Legislation Act.
Can we dim the lights? It's really bright.
H.R. 323 would by federal order require all IHOP restaurants to, quote, remain open 24 hours effective right this minute, even if some manager has to get out of bed and drive down here to start making some pancakes.
Well, we stand by the bill.
Right. We wrote it, apparently.
This bill would also require the federal government pay to build a tram or monorail or whatever connecting the Black Sheep Pub on North Capitol Street to all IHOP restaurants.
I think
in the
we made
city.
some illustrations of
The bill
that.
gives the estimated cost of the tram as probably not even that much. You are wasting my time and the time of this committee.
I gotta go.
What? Congressman, this committee is still in session. You can't...
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, the live Saturday edition of the program. As always, you're invited. If you want to join us, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have a Discord call-in lines, actually multiple Discord call-in lines on our Discord server, which is a place where you can go and chat with other Free Talk Live listeners pretty much around the clock, anytime you want, over at discord.lrn.fm. In the studio here tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
So one of the things we've done over the years here on Free Talk Live is on Thanksgiving, or in this case, near to Thanksgiving, we do, and I would say we're pretty consistent year to year, but there's probably been a few years where we haven't done it. We like to tell the Thanksgiving story. Not the one they told you in school.
Squanto.
Yeah, I remember that. Squanto and the planting the corn. And
The Indians were so happy to see the Pilgrims when I was in school.
Oh, yeah, sure they were. So there's the whitewashed version of Thanksgiving that they teach you in the government schools. And then there's the other story that you never heard about, probably, unless you've, listened to this show in the past or happened to have come to the right place. In this case, it's the Future of Freedom Foundation that is going to provide the version of it this year. And surprisingly, it's actually a fresh writing of this because sometimes we've read some that are a few years old. So somebody has rewritten about this old story once again.
The news stays the same from year to year on this particular story. The Pilgrims and their old Thanksgiving. This one's written by Richard Ebling, and I've tried to cut some of it out here to streamline it for the air. It says, in the New World, the Pilgrims erected a New Jerusalem that would not only be religiously devout. They wanted to erect a New Jerusalem that would not only be religiously devout, but be on a new foundation of communal sharing and social altruism. So this kind of
sounds nice.
Yeah,
Sharing's good.
This kind of thing was beginning to get some legs in this time frame, and then it comes up through the English Revolution, and then by the 18th century, you're talking about, the 1800s, you're talking about a lot of different experiments in communal living happening. So,
who could be against sharing? There's nothing wrong with sharing. Right?
Sharing's
That's what
great.
They taught me in elementary school or preschool or whatever.
Sharing's great as long as it's done voluntarily. Their goal was the communism of Plato's Republic, in which all would work and share in common, knowing neither private property nor self-interested acquisitiveness, so acquiring things.
Well, it sounds to me like people were on board with this. It sounds to me like this is what the community wanted to do. They wanted to have this grand experiment in communal sharing.
Sure. And that's what better people to start with than people who want to do it, as opposed to just shoving it down the throats of people who don't want it.
But yet...
What resulted is recorded in the diary of Governor William Bradford, the head of the colony. The colonists collectively cleared and worked the land, but they brought forth neither the bountiful harvest they hoped for, nor did they create a spirit of shared and cheerful brotherhood. The less industrious members of the colony came late to their work in the fields and were slow and easy in their labors, knowing that they and their families were to receive an equal share of whatever the group produced.
Right, so why work hard if everybody's going to get the same amount for the different amounts of work?
For those of you who've ever been in the military, for those of you who have been in, other institutions, prison comes to mind, there's always some of the people that just try to do as little as they possibly can. I remember one guy...
You don't have to go to the military for this. This happens in every elementary school classroom or middle school or high school where they give you what they call a group project.
Yeah, group projects.
Everybody knows there's one or two people of the 3 or 4 person group that does all the lion's share of the work.
Yeah, usually one. And because one person's better at getting a job done than 4 people are, honestly. Communication's just difficult. Any small businessman will tell you sometimes it's easier just to do it yourself than it is to hire somebody to do it for you. And but I remember a guy that I worked with who says I'm discovering new lower gears every single day. He was proud of how slow
shirking.
He was. Yeah. And what difference does it make? You get paid the same whether you're producing great deal or producing little.
Speaking of shiftless losers, we will take your calls about anything. And John in Delaware would like to talk about politicians. John, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, fellas.
Hey.
Yeah, I wanted to know if any of you guys heard about the Adam Schiff, the shifty shifter, the star of the Democratic Party in this whole collusion and delusion and Ukrainian deal. Supposedly, this guy's involved with that Burisma company over there in Ukraine that the Bidens are involved in. It's a huge cover-up. The whole United States federal government is a huge scam, and they're raping us for all of our money with these taxes. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. It's uncalled for. It's unconstitutional. And I'm sick and tired of it, man. And they got the media covering up every single thing that they do. It's ridiculous. I'm ready to rage against the machine, bro.
John, I have done my level best to try not to read any articles about this situation. To me, Ukraine is just Democrat for Benghazi, right? I mean, this is all politics as far as I'm concerned.
That right.
However,
Man,
I have read a couple of things, and one part that I can't sort of get straight in my mind is that, one thing that we don't generally say about politicians is they're stupid or they're not crafty.
They're crafty.
They're crafty. And a crafty person would not bring up a story that's going to get themselves in trouble, their team in trouble. And
you would assume so.
If this is as clearly against Biden and his son as it looks like it is, then I can't understand why they brought it up, which kind of leaves me sort of wondering.
Maybe they want to sink Biden.
Maybe they do. But either way, this isn't going to sink Trump. And it's going to make the Democrats look bad. And looking bad right before the 2020 election is not the thing that one should try to do.
No. How could they look any worse, though?
I don't know. I mean, the Democrats, their core wanted this. They wanted an impeachment hearing for Trump. It doesn't matter whether it was for, Russian collusion and memes on Facebook, or whether it's for, not cooperating with the FBI. They don't care if it has to do with the tax returns. They don't care what it is, but they want him taken down. They want him, flayed ignominiously in the press. And they're attempting it, but it looks like they're failing.
Do you think it has a part of them? Because the Democrats are known for trying to rewrite history, of course. I think they want the impeachment. They just want the label. They know he's not going to get convicted in the Senate. It's going to get thrown right out. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he just has impeachment connected to his name as the president of the United States, they just want to tarnish his name in the history books. They're evil, dirty people, man. They don't care about nothing but power, man. I'm telling you.
John, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate your thoughts.
I think that's pretty much what happened to Clinton. I mean, here's a guy that got impeached for, whatever. It's looking
He's
like
still collecting $100,000 speaking fees.
Right. It's looking like a pretty lame impeachment at this point, 20 years, 30 years out, 25 years out, whatever it is. But I mean, I would presume the Republicans didn't think it was going to go anywhere either, but they decided they were going to do it.
Yeah, it's for show.
So I think that this is, to some extent, get back for impeaching Clinton, who historically is looking at this point. Admittedly, the Republican House deserves some credit for this, but presidents tend to take the credit and tend to get the blame. And so in this circumstance, it's looking like Clinton was a pretty darn successful president in hindsight.
If you want to join the show, you can. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
And I will never forget. Was it DeLay that said that we've cut the government to the bone?
I don't know who it was.
It was
Some
one of those despicable Republicans.
He was like a speaker of the House or something.
In the Bush during the Bush administration that said, after, Rush Limbaugh told me the government was too big under Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. I was pretty sure of it. The government had grown under Bush. And then they said, they had the audacity to say, the government we've cut it to the bone.
That's what he said.
This is as small as it can get. Ladies and gentlemen,
Ridiculous.
This government that's twice the size of Clinton's government is as small as it can get.
They cut nothing.
They did nothing.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up what you want, more on the Thanksgiving story and whatever you want on Free Talk Live.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DiviProject.org. DiviProject.org.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out, so you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. The Thanksgiving story, the one they don't tell you in the government schools, and for good reason, because government schools are a place where they shove propaganda down your throats to get you to believe a certain way. And the reality is usually quite different, as we're going to discover here. Mark is sharing another version of this story that we've told many a time over the years. This one is recently published at the Future of Freedom Foundation. FFF.org is their website. Plus, I want you to know about another great site, which is freedomsphoenix.com. It's a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who care about freedom, well, freedomsphoenix.com has them. The daily dispatch they have is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. Freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. So, Mark, you were just getting into the story about, what was the town that this happened? Bradford was the governor, right?
Yeah, Bradford. It was, I don't
William
know.
Bradford.
It's mentioned in here somewhere, but it was Governor Bradford, and I think this was Jamestown. Maybe it was the other one. I don't know. The less industrious members of the colony came late to their work in the fields and were slow and easy in their
Plymouth
labors.
Colony.
Okay, this is
where
Plymouth.
he died, at least.
Yeah, that was Plymouth Colony then. That sounds right.
Yep.
Knowing that they and their families were to receive an equal share of whatever the group produced, they saw little reason to be more diligent in their efforts. The harder working among the colonists became resentful that their efforts would be redistributed to the more malingering members of the group.
Right. So what do? If they're resentful, they're going to cut back on their effort.
Soon, they too were coming late to work and were less energetic in the fields.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anybody who's been the manager knows that you've got to keep some kind of integrity around the start time for work.
Sure.
Because if you don't, then somebody's
That's why they
coming
fire people for being late.
Somebody's coming in 15 minutes late. If somebody can come in 15 minutes late and still has their job and everything's fine,
Try
then
20.
Right. 20, half an hour. Pretty soon, it's just show up when you want, work as long as you want, leave when you want. And that's not going to work in most businesses.
Nope. Somebody's got to be there to open the doors, otherwise the customers are going to get mad.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I worked at a health club at one point, and those people that come in at 6 a.m., I just overslept. It's a bad idea to have a 20-year-old opening your business up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But I was doing my best, and I did fine for weeks, but there was one day I was just late. And what are you going to do? So the less industrious members of the colony,
Hold on, you were 20 and you were in prison when you were 20.
I was in my 20s. How's that?
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. The collective work created individual resentment, as Governor Bradford explained in his Old English, though with the spelling modernized. For the young men that were able and fit for labor and service did repine that they should spend their time and strength to work for other men's wives and children without recompense. The strong, or men of parts, had no more division of food, clothes, etc., than he that was weak and not able to do a quarter what the other could. This was thought an injustice. I'm adding a little bit here and there, trying to make it more palatable to a modern audience. The aged and graver men to be ranked and equalized in labor and the food and clothes and etc., with the meaner and younger sort thought it some indignant and disrespect unto them, and for men's wives to be commanded to do service for other men, as dressing their meat and washing their clothes, etc., they deemed it a kind of slavery. Neither could husbands brook it. Because of the disincentives and resentments that spread among the population, crops were sparse, and the rationed equal shares from the collective harvest were not enough to ward off starvation and death. 2 years of communism in practice had left alive only a fraction of the original number of Plymouth colonists.
So it wasn't necessarily that they were randomly struck by some bad luck or whatever, that the growing season didn't work out. It was that their political organization was a failure.
Right. Economic organizations matter. They matter a lot. And it's because economics is about human behavior. And you can see here that some people that are able to do more work don't like it, that they are doing their work to take care of other people. And people don't like it that their family unit has to help other people's family unit. They want to do it on their own. We can see human nature says that people want to share, but they only want to share as much as they want to share, and they don't want to be forced to share. Once you're forcing people to share, then it's just theft. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. So that's what was going on here. Yeah, it was conscription. Yeah, so it's a form of slavery, and that's what they were complaining about. Well,
part of the thing that communists have to eventually, I mean, if they're paying attention, if they're being honest with themselves, is that they can't go against human nature. They want to. They have this grand vision for this massive sharing, this experiment, and this is like an experiment that they attempted in this Plymouth colony. But the communists think that they can if they can just change human nature, that they can have this system work, and you can't.
Well, there's also it's understood that it's not going to work if you start with no money, right? You have to have some money to make things work, and the rich people don't want to come join and share. Even when you can look at the cults where people join and give their life savings, well, A lot of times they just give their life savings away to their parents or something like that. And then, they decide later whether or not they want, if they really have some money, they don't bring it in usually. They might bring some, but they're not bringing it all in. The poor people can bring their whole life savings in and, here's $5.35 I've got left over from this week's labor, and here I am to start to join your cult. So, to the airport with you to try to give away paper flowers for money.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember reading an article like this about Thanksgiving, and I liked the one line that said that Thanksgiving for the Plymouth colony was less a celebration of a bountiful harvest and more the final meal of condemned men.
Mm.
And that's kind of what they're showing here with, the fact that they were moving into starvation. Going on, realizing
2 years later, it said they were starving out.
Realizing that another season like those that had just passed would mean the extinction of the entire community, the elders of the colony decided to try something radically different. The introduction of private property and the right of the individual families to keep the fruits of their own labor.
Mm.
As Governor Bradford put it,
because it used to go into a common storehouse from where it was then distributed.
And that makes a lot of sense when you're setting up this colony. Let's just try this. Everybody will work and everybody will eat and it'll be fine. But
it wasn't.
No, because people don't want to work that way. And so
it's not to say they don't want to work. They certainly do want to work when they can be rewarded concomitant to the effort that they're putting into the thing. That doesn't mean they're not willing to help a sick person or somebody else who, for whatever reason, can't assist with the work. But that has to be chosen.
Right, and people
otherwise it's not virtuous.
Certainly don't like it when somebody else looks like they're doing less work.
And they can work, right? Like if they're able-bodied and they're shirking their duties.
This just drives down innovation and it drives down productivity.
The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733, live Saturday edition. This is Free Talk Live.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge Wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live.
When you speak of the federal government, I can tell you a few things about it because I survived 34 years of it before I retired 2 years ago.
Ew.
And
sorry to hear about that.
my sanity.
Congratulations. Who did you work for?
I worked for the Department of Defense. It's a criminal enterprise from top to bottom. There was unethical behavior going on there. There were people doing criminal things. I mean, outright larceny, graft. I could just go on.
Yeah, and that's just your bureaucracy. It's the same way everywhere else in every other government department.
And I tell you, this is a microcosm. If it's that way where I was, you know the entire federal government's that way from the very top to the very bottom.
When we talk to former police officers, they've told us that usually
I did that too for about 7 years out there.
They've told us that in their experience, usually the worst rise up through the ranks. Would you say that's accurate from your experience?
Absolutely.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also, don't forget, you can join us online. All you have to do is go to freetalklive.com. You'll find ways to listen and watch. We've got some webcams that you can watch on our video streaming services, including Twitch. We're over at twitch.lrn.fm, also dlive.lrn.fm. Plus, we're also on YouTube. You can also learn more about betterplans.net, because if you're sick and tired of Washington politicians making decisions about you and your family's health care, then you really ought to check out betterplans.net. You know that Obamacare, they claimed, was going to help you with affordable health care with choices. And, of course, well, you didn't really believe that, right? It's turned into high-priced insurance with little choice. The team at betterplans.net believed there was a better way to do health insurance, and they figured it out. You can call them at 800-714-1802 to get a fast and free quote. The truth is, you can get affordable health care plans that cost hundreds of dollars less per month. The first step is to become aware of how the wool's been pulled over your eyes. You can download their free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets, at betterplans.net. There you've got sample pricing for plans, and they're every bit as good as the major providers for as little as $145 per month for a single.
This is a big deal to be able to save hundreds of dollars per month on your insurance, and all you've got to do is go to this website.
And you'll get even greater savings if you've got a family or business. You can gain access to educational videos and a free quote, plus your free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets, at betterplans.net. Obamacare enrollment deadline is December 15th, so don't wait on this. Betterplans.net, or call them at 800-714-1802. Let's go to the phones here, and then we'll tell you more from this Thanksgiving story about how they shifted from communal ownership of property and communal, basically, experiment in communism, to private ownership of property, where the farmers in the Plymouth colony were able to actually keep the things that they produced and decide what to do with them on their own volition. Let's go to Matthew. He's in Louisiana. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Matthew.
Yeah, every time I hear the story about the Pilgrims at Plymouth Rock, I'm always reminded of the book Acts from the Bible. And there's some Christians, and I hate to say this, but Pope Francis is amongst these, that's the be-all, end-all of Christianity, Acts. There's others who think Revelations is where it's at, and they just stay there waiting for the end times all the time. And it makes me wonder what happened to those early Christian communities that basically practiced communism. Did they just sort of fritter away because, they were so unproductive that people thought that their minds were so full of things of heaven that there were no earthly use? you never really get an idea of what.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm some kind of scholar on early Christianity. I mean, I've paid a little bit of attention to it here and there. I mean, one thing that comes to mind is that that fort that was I can't remember off the top of my head. I was there by the Black Sea where the Romans laid siege to the Jews for a long time Masada until they committed suicide. But that's all I could say is that, I mean, it tends to be that communism doesn't work out in the long run. I have seen some co-ops cooperative businesses work. And
isn't that more, though, a communalism as opposed to a communism?
I think that, if a system works, we ought to, hold it up and say, hey, this is working.
There are some communes that have been around for many decades.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but one of the things you will notice, Ian, is that the membership doesn't stay consistent, that people come and go.
Oh, really?
It's more like a long-term hostile sort of situation. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, I'm here with this group now, and I'll follow these rules and do these things. And then later it's like, okay, I'm on my way. This has been good, but, I'm changing my direction.
And you'll also find that many times there's this sort of core group of leaders in any of these communes, and then some people come and some people go, as he's been mentioning. And essentially, the leaders are doing better than everybody else. They're not the ones out in the field. They're the ones telling people to get out in the field. And there's also a few other aspects that aren't mentioned here. A lot of times you're talking about people who want to have practices that aren't acceptable in mainstream society, and they're trying to facilitate these particular practices. Quite a few of them, it's sort of wife swapping or whatever it is you want to call it. And
swinging, I think, is what the current term is.
Yeah, well, don't expect me to get it right. Mrs. Edge has a strong prohibition against any sort of thing like that. So I mean, I had a friend who lived at one called Dancing Rabbit. I'm sure they're listening on the radio right now. And he called it a sex cult. Now, I suspect the reason he did that was simply because he wasn't quite interested in whatever the swapping they were talking about. But, maybe it's just like a hidden little secret on these things.
Hey, Matthew, any other comments? Go ahead.
No, that's about it. I mean, Rush tells this story basically every Thanksgiving, and it's good for it to be retold. That basically the true story of Thanksgiving is that they were giving thanks for finally getting a bountiful harvest
after they changed to private property ownership.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the call, Matthew. I appreciate it, man. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's talk to David in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Mark.
Yeah, first of all, on the Thanksgiving and the Indians, got a question for you. But Clinton impeachment, I believe, started in the Supreme Court. And Adam Schiff, let's throw that in there. And then, so one of the, I think you're looking for the word tribalism. If you will, communism worked for eternity when it was tribalism, which encompassed all of humanity before written history, put it that way, which is tens and hundreds of thousands of years, just not the last few thousand years. It was tribalism, and it basically worked. And yeah, there was lots of nasty things, but there's 100,000 times more nasty things today than there was under tribalism, and that was basically fit the description of quasi-communism that pretty much worked. So let's take tribalism and lead into the Indians. So you're talking about the Thanksgiving story. So let's ask the Indians what they think about Thanksgiving. And like I started to tell you before, basically, they won't call you and tell you themselves unless you really push them to call in, other than calling from the heart of Indian country here on your affiliate KENN in the Four Corners Navajo Nation. And I think you're also.
So why are you saying that the Indians don't want to talk about it? Because of the violence? Because of the slaughter?
Because they don't, they're not exactly happy with white men, with Europeans, whether they be Northern European like myself or Southern European like Spaniards. They're not exactly happy with them. They're carrying a bit of a grudge. It's a little bit understandable, and they never wanted to be part of white society. And to the best of their abilities, they are trying to maintain their own culture and keep to themselves. And for the majority, it seems, and I'm not speaking for Indians, I'm speaking for myself on my observations, which are pretty close at hand. But they don't really want to. They don't want to vote. They didn't ask for any of this. They don't want any of this, and so they won't participate unless you kind of solicit them. Other than, and since we're talking about New Mexico, all the Indians in New Mexico will know the one guy that likes to interact with the white culture on the radio, Mike Toya, city bus driver. Hey.
Goes a little above my head, but thank you for the call tonight. I definitely appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Yeah, I mean, the Indians definitely got a raw deal when it came to, white man coming over here.
When the North American continent collided with the South American continent, the predominant predator on the South American continent was a large carnivorous bird that quickly went extinct.
Really?
When the animals of the North American continent could make it through the Bering Strait, or whatever that area, not Bering Strait, Darien Pass area. And once they came through, they wiped them out. And, that's what happens when some primates are introduced with other primates.
There's more on the way here. That doesn't make it okay. It's Free Talk Live.
What if you could cut your heating bills this winter with your existing wood-burning fireplace and not spend thousands doing it? You can with Great Wall of Fire fireplace grates. Our U.S. patented made-in-America Wall of Fire grates increase fireplace efficiency, eliminate fireplace smoke problems, and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. See our grates in action and get free shipping from walloffire.com or call 800-274-7364. Fireplace heat without fireplace smoke. walloffire.com.
We can all agree these are troubled times, right? So do you know who's on your wireless network? Whether it's a big company selling your data or a foreign hacker, if you're not protected, everybody sees your information. That's why you need Flash Routers, a custom Wi-Fi router created for privacy. Flash Routers uses a virtual private network, or VPN, to protect your online activity from hackers, trackers, and large corporations. And not just one, but all your devices with one out-of-the-box setup. Plus, Flash Routers also enhances your wireless network performance and unlocks powerful router management tools to let you take total control of your network. Call or click Flash Routers today at 1-866-509-5817 or FLASHROUTERS.com. That's 1-866-509-5817 or FlashRouters.com. Protect your wireless home network today with Flash Routers.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you may take control of the airwaves here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
Also, I want to say thanks to Paul Gibbons, who is a Free Talk Live Gold Amplifier, a longtime supporter, longtime listener here of Free Talk Live. Thank you, Paul, for jumping behind the AMP program many years ago. You can join the AMP program just like Paul, and he did a gold level, which means he's doing $10 a month. We only ask for $5, which is the silver level, and we certainly appreciate everybody contributing what they can to the AMP program. It's nice to know that people support our efforts here and that you want to see Free Talk Live getting on more radio stations around the United States, because that's one of the primary reasons we have the AMP program, is to help us advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. And we've got over 200 stations today, but we could have 300. It's possible. It just takes time. It takes effort. It takes money. And that's what the AMP program is designed to help do. And you can get some cool perks, some bennies for being a Free Talk Live amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. Sign up with PayPal. Sign up with credit card or Bitcoin, BTC. It is up to you. And you'll get some of the benefits, like being in the AMP subscribers group on our Discord server. There's also an AMP-only discussion group on Facebook and some other perks. Go to amp.freetalklive.com to learn more. That's amp.freetalklive.com. So, Mark, you've been sharing the Future of Freedom Foundation. They've got a piece that they wrote up apparently this year about the Plymouth colony, back when the colonists were coming over here from Great Britain and such. And they set up initially a communal structure, meaning that people were expected to go work, and they were, taking whatever it is that they harvested, the fruits of their labor, and they put it into some sort of a common house. And then from there, this stockyard or whatever it was, they distributed it to the various different members of the community. And as it turned out, this experiment in communism just didn't really work out because, well, people want to be rewarded based on the effort that they put in. And when those who were willing to put in effort noticed that those who weren't really that willing to put in effort, were shirking their duties, even though they clearly could be working, oh, my back, oh, it hurts, I can't work today. Well, when are you going to be able to work again? I don't know. It's so hard. I can't lift anything. These people were just not doing what they could. And the people who were willing to work and were able to work knew that these other folks were able to work. They knew that they could work, but they knew they were BSing, basically. And they started to put in less effort, and as a result, crops did not, make it.
Right. Basically, over the course of 2 years, they were beginning to see starvation.
Yeah.
And that things were going to be bad. So they came up with a solution.
It was to the point where they couldn't blame it on, chance, right? Like it wasn't, it was a bad harvest. No, it was a bad harvest because people were being lazy, because they weren't incentivized to give it their best.
Here's what Governor Bradford of the Plymouth colony said. He said, "And so assign to every family a parcel of land according to the proportion of their number, and for that end," the end of growing food. "This had a very good success, for it made all hands very industrious, so much more corn was planted than otherwise would have been by any means the governor or any other could use, and saved him a great deal of trouble, and gave far better content. The women now went willingly into the field and took their little ones with them to set corn, which before would allege weakness. The women would allege weakness and inability, whom to have to have compelled them would have been thought a great tyranny and oppression.
Right.
The Plymouth colony experienced a great bounty of food. Private ownership meant that there was now a close link between work and reward. Industry became the order of the day, and the men and women of each family went to the fields on their separate private farms. When the harvest time came, not only did many families produce enough for their own needs, but they had surpluses that they could freely exchange with their neighbors for mutual benefit and improvement. In Governor Bradford's...
And this was the first year, right? They had surpluses, went from starvation to surpluses basically immediately.
Yeah, so I live in New England, and one thing I wonder is where did these people start planting? Where did they find these farms? Because a farm just doesn't spring out of nothing. You got to clear trees, and they must have found some areas where there just weren't that many trees. I don't know. I'm no historian on this, but I can tell you, I had a little farm, and every piece of ground that I had on that little farm, I had
stumps.
Yeah, I had pull stumps. We had to cut down trees. We used the trees for heat and in some cases for building things. I mean, I can only imagine they were doing some similar stuff, but this isn't the kind of thing that you can just walk on board with. You've got to have some land cleared. So I'm kind of curious about that part.
Well, maybe there was some clear. I mean, not everywhere is a forest. I mean, maybe there was some naturally clear land. I know that when I've been down by the seacoast in New Hampshire, I've seen some pretty clear land down there, and I don't know if it's because somebody wiped a forest out or because there was just like some grassy areas there.
I don't have any answers for you as to how that would be the case, but on my hikes, I haven't found any naturally clear areas.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The Plymouth colony experienced a great bounty.
Well, we also don't live on the coast.
Oh, sorry. Governor Bradford said, and by the time the harvest had come, instead of famine, now God gave them plenty. And the face of things was changed.
Apparently God hates commies.
God hates commies. To the rejoicing of the hearts of many, for which they blessed God. And the effect of their planting was well seen, for all had one way or another pretty well to bring the year about, and some of the abler sort and more industrious had to spare and sell to others. So as any general want or famine hath not been amongst them since to this day. So basically, divvying up the land and giving everybody their little piece worked.
It worked.
And I think largely that's why the United States has seen its domination over the other nations of the world, is because, Europe, the people just could never get the land out of the hands of the rulers. And when they finally did, they were the progeny of serfs that were unwilling to pick up and move to the new land. So the people of the New World, Canada, United States, these are the more industrious sorts, at least the progeny of the more industrious sorts. So,
I mean, some places still haven't figured this out. In 2019 here, we're starting to see, we talked about Cuba recently. You went there for a vacation. And some of the economic reforms they've put into place in Cuba, finally allowing people to make decisions like what crops to plant, allowing people to have some semblance of private property.
Right.
So, I mean, some people are still just barely getting into this.
Right. What we see going on in Cuba right now is you call it a free market resurgence. I wish the United States would see this kind of free market.
I wouldn't call it a free market. It's some market mechanisms coming into play that weren't allowed previously.
I wouldn't call socialized medicine socialism either, because it's not state ownership of the means of production. However, we can see steps in one direction or the other. The United States is going commie, and Cuba is going free market, if you want to be simplistic in the way you describe these things. Hard experience had taught the Plymouth colonists that the fallacy and error in the ideas, and that since the time of the ancient Greeks had promised paradise through collectivism rather than individualism, and of as Governor Bradford expressed it, the experience that was had in this common course and condition tried sundry years, and that amongst the godly and sober men many will
and you know what? Before you go on, I bet you the shiftless losers were really upset with the idea of having to go to work. You know,
I don't know. Once they saw that they could benefit from their own labor,
maybe it changed how they looked
changes.
at it.
And it tends to change people very quickly. It's just like, look,
there's still people who today they don't want to work.
It's true. That much is true, but starvation will often convince those people that this is a bad idea.
And nobody's starving in the United States today.
No. The problem, I mean, unless you are a kid locked under the stairs, chained to the floorboards, I don't think there's any way that you can be starving.
Nope.
Now they have to use a term called food insecurity.
Food desert.
Food desert, which basically means you're not getting the kind of food that I would like to see young people or people generally eating. I want to see them eating more fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. But, my experience with the food pantry in the local area is that poor people don't want vegetables. They want the kind of foods that keep without spoiling and taste better and all that stuff. Couldn't give the vegetables away.
If you want to join us here talking about the failure of communism and the surpluses of market organization, toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And that's the real story of Thanksgiving. There may be some closing comments from this piece that you've got, Mark, to share, and we can do that coming up here. Plus, Black Friday numbers are in, and it's looking good for online sales. Department stores having a bit of a tougher time. It's Free Talk Live. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
You can be the smartest person in the room on the topic of the Constitution if you watch this free webinar. Liberty First University is online training on the principles of liberty and the origin, proper application, and defense of our founding documents and the principles they contain. You will receive an education worthy of the highest institutions of learning, as if the founders were teaching it. Join us at lfu.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at lfu.freetalklive.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,464, silver at $17.02, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,508. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, on Friday, 6 European countries issued a bombshell joint statement declaring their intent to join INSTEX, or the Instrument in Support of Trade Exchanges, a European special purpose vehicle serving as a swift alternative to bypass U.S. sanctions on Iran. Activist Post reports that Finland, Belgium, Denmark, Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden released a joint statement asserting it's of the utmost importance to the preservation and full implementation of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action on Iran's nuclear program by all parties involved. INSTEX is an initiative set up by France, Germany, and the UK in January 2019 to provide humanitarian and sanctions relief to Iran after, in November 2018, the SWIFT network suspended Iranian banks under Washington pressure, months after Trump pulled the U.S. out of the nuclear deal. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Each year in the United States, millions of people participate in a mass ritual in consumerism that has come to be known as Black Friday. Many people decide to stay home and shop online, while many people decided to boycott the sales altogether. The most popular Black Friday boycott is known as Buy Nothing Day, and it's been going strong for 24 years now. The boycott was initially organized by Vancouver-based artist Ted Dave, who wanted to promote a day for society to examine the issue of overconsumption. That's a quote. The Mind Unleashed reports the first official boycott kicked off on the same day as Black Friday in 1997, and has spread all over the world in the decade since. Advocates of Buy Nothing Day say they hope to encourage mindfulness about consumption habits that will last for years to come. According to the National Retail Federation, more than 174 million Americans shopped from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday in 2016. The average amount that each shopper spent that year was around $335. A new study published by animal welfare group World Animal Protection has arrived at some stunning findings about pork products being sold at Walmart. The report, published by Food Dive, found that pork samples purchased from Walmart contained superbugs, antibiotic-resistant bacteria. 80% of samples tested from Mid-Atlantic Walmart stores were resistant to at least one antibiotic. Additionally, 37% of the bacteria in the Walmart samples were resistant to 3 or more classes of antibiotics. The Mind Unleashed reports that in some, about 27% of the resistant bacteria found on Walmart's pork were resistant to classes categorized as highest priority critically important antimicrobials by the World Health Organization. 160 samples of pork were tested by researchers at Texas Tech University. 80 were from Walmart, and 80 were from a competing national retail chain in the Mid-Atlantic region. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
From the creation of the Bible in 1912 by a struggling Baltimore book salesman to the day in 1493 when Christopher Columbus and his crew looked back on their voyage and realized what they truly discovered was themselves. The Onion looks back at This Week in History. On July 21st, 1969, astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on the surface of the moon. The moon, for Christ's sake.
This is Tranquility Base. The Eagle has landed. Jesus H. Christ, Houston. We're on the moon. Over.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy that. We cannot believe you are on the moon.
I'm descending the ladder. Just one more step and I'm wholly living. I absolutely absolutely am standing on the surface of the moon. Jesus H. Christ in a chicken basket.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here as we kick off the second hour of the program. Our toll-free number for you, it's 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts to start things out. Coming up, we could talk about Black Friday, and, well, we covered it in detail last night, but some of the numbers are in, so we'll report on that. Plus, a gentleman who's been arrested by the U.S. government gang for visiting North Korea. He's a cryptocurrency expert, and apparently he allegedly met with some of the government gang in North Korea, and so the government gang in the United States is mad about that, and they're now charging him for freedom of speech? Because I thought you had freedom of speech in the United States. Maybe they're saying you don't have freedom of speech if you're going to talk to Kim Jong-un or some of his goons. So we'll get into that coming up here. But first, Olivia is on the line. She's on our Discord server and in Arizona. Go ahead, Olivia.
Hey, long-time listener, first-time Discord caller.
Hey, all right, great. You sound good. Go ahead.
I had two comments before I get to my main point. One of them was you're advertising this health insurance, I think, and I just wanted to tell a quick story about an experience I had in the Arizona Walmart. I went to pick up a prescription, and the pharmacy tech who checked me out was so nice. She said, get on your phone and look up goodrx.com because you might have a coupon for this. And so I did, and she saved me $20. So I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe everyone's heard of this but me. But
yeah, I was at CVS and they did the same thing for well, my wife was doing it because I probably wouldn't even look. But we use the GoodRx at my household too.
That's awesome.
Good to know.
I wanted to throw that out in case anyone hadn't heard it. Save a few bucks. The other thing I wanted to mention the other day when I called in about my experience with the DMV, I wasn't just calling in to complain. I wanted to mention if you go, because I had to make three trips home, if you go, they have a new Real ID law that Obama did to put some kind of gold star on your license. I'm sure you've talked.
This actually wasn't specifically Obama. Real ID has been in place since the Bush administration. Because I remember, Mark, when we moved up here to New Hampshire, that was one of the issues that some of the activists
it was a hot button issue.
They were active on right before we moved, so it was like still kind of going when we came up here. There were some great protests that Lauren Canario and Jim Johnson did, where they had dressed up as Nazi soldiers and put up like a checkpoint outside of the State House. So this was back in like 2005, I think. So this has been going on for a long time. What's happened, though, over the years, Olivia, is that the federal government has been trying to shove this Real ID thing down the states' throats. And essentially what it is, for those who aren't familiar, it's a set of federal standards that they basically are trying to choke down on the states. The states don't have to do Real ID, but they pretty much are all doing it, from what I understand. I don't know if there's any other holdouts. There may have. Initially, there were a few holdout states.
Most of the complaints from the states surround the unfunded mandate aspect.
Right.
So you're going to make us put this stuff on our driver's license, but you're not giving us any money to do it.
That was the initial objection from some states who refused to go along with it. New Hampshire was one of those states. I guess something changed. I mean, I haven't followed all the the dirty political details of exactly how New Hampshire got convinced to come on board with this. But eventually, the federal government, has been saying for the last several years, you better get this Real ID, or else we're not going to let you fly anywhere. And they've kept on, coming at these state governments with these threats, which, in my mind, are just straight up lies. They're just trying to intimidate people. It's not true, I don't believe, that they're going to actually refuse people to be able to fly. They'll make it more difficult for you. They might, give you the super secret special search and question you or something like that before you're allowed to get on board an airplane. But given that you can fly without without ID at all, I don't see how it would be that they would refuse to allow you to fly if you had an ID, but it just wasn't the federal, real ID. There's probably just going to be extra hoops. But that's what they've been saying, right? So there's no penalty for government when they tell lies. So they can get out there and say, we're going to stop you from flying if you don't get this real ID. And people believe them because, it's the government. So they figure that's the way it's going to be. But I'm telling you, it's not going to be that way. So what they've kept doing is they kept putting off this deadline. They would have the deadline set for 2015 or 2017 or whatever it was. They had them over the years, and they kept pushing it back, and so it wasn't even something you could really take that seriously because they never really cracked down on any of these deadlines. They just kept moving them back. So now we're supposed to believe that. I think is it 2021 or 2020 that's the deadline now? I forget which.
At this point, I've stopped paying attention. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I just don't take it terribly seriously.
But there is
at
another
some point
deadline.
It's coming, though, clearly.
There's another deadline, and it's coming up within the next year and a half, and supposedly you won't be able to fly. But so anyway, that's what the real ID is. The ones with a golden star are the real ID compliant IDs, and the ones without are not. I guess some states, I'd presume that they're all real ID, but other states like New Hampshire, you can choose. Although the bureaucrats at the DMV in New Hampshire have been trying to encourage the real ID. So they've been propagating this misinformation and these lies to the people that come in saying, well, you might want to get the real ID because it's basically been making people opt out. They're sort of defaulting to real ID now. What's your experience there?
Well, it's interesting you say that because I had to go home. I'm sure maybe if I had pushed the issue, I could have said, well, just treat me like a non-citizen. But I think that you can still fly with a passport. But honestly, after my
Well, that's considered a real ID. The passport passport is a federal ID. So the passport is, by default, it's compliant with a real ID strictures.
Yeah, so this just seems like those protesters said. Honestly, it felt menacing, it felt off, and it really did feel like Nazi Germany. I had to go home like twice to get the papers because they wanted 2 bills to show that I lived at the residence that I live at. Then they wanted a social security card.
Wow.
And they wanted a birth certificate or a passport or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty insane, and it did not feel good. And I was like, well, what if I don't have these things? What if just put me, what if I want to be put down as a non-citizen, but they wouldn't really hear of it?
Is that what they told you, is that you'd be a non-citizen if you didn't have a real ID?
I honestly don't remember exactly what they said. They kind of gave me a vague threat, like, well, then you won't have the gold star, and you won't be, I know.
It sounds like something right out of elementary school.
I've been living life without a gold star for some time. Whenever they're passing out gold stars, they almost always skip me.
It sounds like something right out of elementary school, doesn't it? Remember?
It does. I really did want that sticker on my forehead back then, though.
I don't think they put it on your forehead.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I remember they had like a chart that they would put the gold stars up on, and I don't remember what they were charting, but...
We were wild ones in my kindergarten class. Mm-hmm. We all wanted the sticker on the forehead.
Gotcha.
Well, I have to tell you a story to go with it. So but they didn't seem keen on letting me out of this. In fact, the woman behind the counter told the story of her allegedly 95-year-old neighbor who didn't have a birth certificate because that started after 95 years ago. And they made her like get census records to prove that she was, and I'm like, well, then why do I have a passport and a driver's license? Obviously it's me. Are you saying
right? So what you're pointing out here is that you already had their other government documents, but they wouldn't accept their own government documents just on the face of them.
Right.
They wanted you to go get the birth certificate and all these other, just jump through some hoops, lady.
Exactly. It was almost humiliating, honestly.
Sure.
But anyway, so I really called about that poor woman in Utah who was topless in her own home, and they want to allege that was lewd and some kind of child abuse.
Did you hear about this, Mark?
So many questions.
Right. Basically, some gal not wearing a top in her house. And
No. What happened was they were installing insulation in their attic. They came down. It was her and her boyfriend or husband or whatever, because she's the stepmom of the children in the home.
Right.
And they were up in insulation, so they stripped off their clothes down to their underwear,
and
basically.
The boys saw
and
it.
she was topless. I think there were boys and girls. I think there was 3 children involved. So hang on, Olivia. I know you had comments on that. We can bring it back here in just a moment. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So the children who are not her children saw it, told their mother about it. Their mother went to the police.
Yep.
Now the lady who was topless is looking at prison time. There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarist thinkers and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th. Visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
Formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways.
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us right here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. What is a T-shirt? Is it just another piece of cloth that keeps you from being cold and naked? Well, we think that a T-shirt is a way to connect with others, a way to communicate and share your beliefs. Do you like to promote liberty? Is your torso lacking adequate coverage? Are you shivering into cold, lonely nights? LibertyMinded.com has durable, soft, comfortable apparel such as t-shirts, hoodies, and knit beanies for everyone that promote principled, liberty-minded messaging to let you immediately connect and show the world what you believe in. Best of all, this weekend, LibertyMinded.com is running the biggest sale they've ever had at 30% off almost everything in the store. So if you've been to LibertyMinded.com, you know there's a great selection of really creative, well-designed, graphically pleasing. Johnson's really good at this stuff. T-shirts that are available there and other items, including the Free Talk Live hoodie, which is right now, I believe he's selling these things below cost at this point just because he wants to blow out the inventory. $21, as low as $21 for a Free Talk Live hoodie. It's that time of year.
Wow.
This is a great gift for people that, love Free Talk Live. These are the original batch of hoodies that, we've had around forever. And the rest of Liberty Minded is like the sort of one-off thing where, when you order it, it's made for you, essentially. Whereas the hoodies, we bought those back before that technology existed, basically. And so he wants to blow those hoodies out. But everything else is also on sale, pretty much everything, 30% off. Over at LibertyMinded.com, you can take a look, see what's available, and place your order. LibertyMinded.com. And yes, they do accept cryptocurrency at LibertyMinded.com. We're going to get back into Olivia's call here, plus you can call in and bring up anything that you want. I did pull up the alleged frequently asked questions about Real ID because I was curious as to what is the new supposed deadline. They say that it will be October 1st of 2020 when you will, they claim, no longer be allowed to, here's the quote, "What happens to travelers who show up without a compliant license? Will the TSA turn them away?" This is from the Department of Homeland Security's website. They say travelers who do not present a Real ID compliant license or acceptable alternative beginning October 1st, 2020 will not be permitted through the security checkpoint.
Wow.
But on the other hand, if you go to the TSA's website, there's a question there. I forgot my identification. Can I still proceed through security screening? In the event you arrive at the airport without proper ID because it's lost or at home, you may still be allowed to fly. By providing additional information, the TSA has other ways to confirm your identity, like using publicly available databases so you can reach your flight. If your identity cannot be verified, you will not be allowed to enter the screening checkpoint.
One time I had my ID in the wrong pocket, and I found it later, but I couldn't find it there in the line.
Right.
And,
so you didn't think you had it on you.
And I had to go through some extra screening. They did the blue glove love and patted me down in all my special spots. And
they ask you some questions?
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
Whatever they are, I'll answer anything as long as I can get on my flight,
And you got on.
And I got on.
No problem. How much extra delay?
A problem. Not much.
So you don't feel they didn't take you into a separate room and sit you down and go through a long repertoire of questions?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we got Olivia who's still on the line with us here. Olivia, you'd called in to kind of bring up Real ID, but ultimately you wanted to talk about the woman in Utah facing jail time, a significant amount of jail. She's looking at like 3 misdemeanor charges of lewdness involving a child because she was topless around her 3 stepchildren. And nobody actually even knows when this event took place. So she's been charged with this so-called crime, and they don't even know when it happened. They just know the mother of the stepchildren complained to the police. So one of the police detectives called her, and she, probably not knowing her rights and knowing anything about keeping quiet when it comes to speaking to the police, likely simply admitted to doing this.
Sure.
So they brought criminal charges against her.
Well, who would have thought this was going to be a problem?
In her own home?
Right.
Yeah. So
it
anyway,
had to be Utah, of course.
Yes, indeed. So, but that's not to say this couldn't happen somewhere else. Olivia, go ahead with your. You said you had some questions or comments about this.
Sure. Real quick though, I just wanted to say yesterday a friend of mine bought me because I told him what to buy. Got me a couple of beanies and Derek Javes Victimless Crime Spree from LibertyMinded.com. I'm
awesome.
So excited. But yeah, so I have so many questions about this. So I think Gene, the Christian anarchist in Discord, had asked, so if you take your child to a nudist beach, say in Europe, are you guilty of some kind of international sex crime? Or even here in the U.S., are you guilty of a sex crime there? My question is, kids eat off of those. So like what age do you like? Is it wrong to say? Because some people breastfeed until the kid's like 7 or older.
That's true.
I've heard the stories, and I did meet a couple where they were talking about weaning their 6-year-old and how he verbally expressed his displeasure with not being able to nurse briefly before going to bed, because he had been doing this, I don't know, for 6 years and his whole life. And like he trying to pull up mom's shirt. When they can yank your shirt up, ladies, I'm thinking this little adventure's over. But that's just my opinion. You do you. But this was hilarious to me. My wife breastfed for some time, but she even thought this was just bizarre.
Well, like Native Americans used to, from what I've heard, they used to breastfeed for a while because that was good nutrition, that, more nutrition for everybody. They didn't have to feed their kids as much meat, but it was also like nutrient rich, and it kept the women from like getting pregnant too often. So there were some advantages, at least back in the day. And that brings me to the Native Americans. And yes, the Mariana Island natives, they used to go around topless. Are we saying that all these ancient societies all were abusing their children by not wearing a white man's shirt? Did that justify stealing the children and forcing them into those boarding schools where they died of horrible diseases? There's just so much here. And who's to say? I mean, everyone has boobs. It's weird. Like, and it's only the nipple part that gets covered, which is a universal. I don't know.
We've all got them. And that's one of the points the woman was making in court was, my husband was there. He was topless too. How come that's not a problem? Why isn't that a crime?
Because this is Utah, lady.
Well, all right.
One last thing on that is, in today's changing sexual preferences, like, homosexuality is becoming much more open and common, I suppose. Should men have to be covered as well? Because, if it's all about lust and temptation, then you guys got to put on the burqa too,
She could have said that at that moment in time, I identified as a man.
Thanks for the call tonight, Olivia. Definitely appreciate hearing from you there on our Discord server. If you want to sound great like that, you can connect to our Discord at discord.lrn.fm.
Yeah, I don't think that one should have to go through these genuflexions of sort of, saying this thing or that thing. It should be okay to be topless in your home.
Yeah, should be okay to be topless anywhere.
In front of children. Like, this should be easy, though.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she took her shirt off when she was covered in fiberglass from being in the roof.
Well, the prosecution is claiming they can't change the law on this because it would actually put children in danger, because there's the law here, lewd act with a child, has to do with, if you touch a girl's breast, then that's considered a lewd act. They say, well, we can't treat women the same as men, otherwise it won't protect the children from, perverts who want to touch them.
It's always the children.
Ridiculous, because it's still molestation.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
You will understand the true intent of the Founding Fathers when they wrote the Constitution if you attend this free webinar. Chris Ann Hall, president of Liberty First University, doesn't simply regurgitate what some professor or expert has said about the Constitution. She relays the thoughts and opinions of those who wrote the documents. Her straightforward, passionate, easy-to-understand style lets anyone grasp the principles of liberty. Join us at lfu.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at lfu.freetalklive.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Plus, you ready to start accepting cryptocurrency at your place of business? Or maybe you go to your customers. Maybe your service provider, you want to take crypto on your phone or whatever device you've got with you. You can easily do that by going to helpmetakebitcoin.com. They'll help you accept Bitcoin and Dash and Bitcoin Cash, and you can do it quickly. You don't have to jump through ridiculous hoops. There's no application. There's no fee. There's no waiting. You just go to helpmetakebitcoin.com, and they'll walk you through the steps to install your own crypto wallet and hook up the AnyPay app to start accepting cryptocurrency at your point of sale. The app's available for iOS and Android as well as web browsers, so it's super easy to do. Helpmetakebitcoin.com. There's really no better way, and there's no fee to the business owner. You know, you're paying 3% or whatever to the credit card companies. Zero fees to accept cryptocurrency through helpmetakebitcoin.com. It's a no-brainer. Check it out when you get the chance. I'm a big fan of what they're doing over there. Let's go and continue with more of your calls and thoughts. We've got Jerry. He's on the line in Florida, listening in Daytona Beach to WNDB. Hello, Jerry.
Hey, how you doing? I'm a little confused. This is the second time that I've heard your program.
Welcome.
And I think earlier you were talking about somebody that got in trouble with the federal government because they were talking cryptocurrency with North Korea.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't get into the story, but yeah, there's a headline about that.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, you know, you kind of slam the government because they, you know, they're coming down on those people. But then on the other hand, you talk about freedom, and you know, North Korea suppresses freedom probably more than any country in this world.
No doubt.
I don't know why we want. Why would we want to help them out?
Who's we?
Giving them some kind of technological.
Well, this is my thought process is this: I'm free, and I don't belong to the United States federal government. No, I am free.
No, you're not.
I can declare myself free as often as I
sure,
like.
But they can put you in a prison cell if they want.
Right. And like we all deal with that. Right? Yeah. Like the federal government can do what it wants. Even if you're to free people, it can crack down anytime it feels like it. So I don't see education as a bad thing. Now, the federal government may see education as a bad thing, but presuming, and I haven't read this story yet with this guy, but presuming this guy isn't working for the United States federal government, he's not guilty of treason because hasn't taken an oath or anything. So I think that free people should be able to educate whom they wish about which technologies they want. Don't you think that?
So you think that the free people ought to be able to help a dictator solidify his position? I mean, isn't that pretty selfish? Isn't that selfish?
I think that, well, for one, I don't know that that's what that guy thought. Right?
I don't think you believe in freedom. I think you believe in money.
No, I believe, well, money will provide you with some freedom. However, what I believe in is that in your freedom to educate Kim Jong-un on cryptocurrency, I'm not going to do it because I wouldn't step foot into North Korea. I'd be afraid I wouldn't be able to come back.
I wouldn't want to help the federal government learn about it either. I don't want any power-seeking sickos to be able to control anything, that could possibly, set people free.
Right. I'm not so silly as to say that I think the United States federal government is the same thing as the North Korean government.
The difference, though, is only in degrees.
But it's in degrees.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Listen, what planet are you guys living on?
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe you haven't heard, but the United States has more people in prison by percentage of its population, and maybe even raw numbers, I think, than pretty much any other place on the planet.
Right, and they're all in there because they smoked a joint. I know.
No, that's not the reason.
A good percentage of people in jail are in for drug crimes.
A lot of federal prisoners are absolutely there for nonviolent drug crimes.
Sure.
Do you guys really know anything about communism, or do you just, kind of flap your gums?
I think we've been on the air for a long time. I mean, what do you mean by knowing things about communism?
Well, I mean, do you actually understand and know what happens in countries when they convert to communism or?
It's generally pretty bad.
Yeah, life sucks. We studied Venezuela quite.
I was just in Cuba 2 weeks ago. Try to take the condescending tone down.
I understand
a little bit, okay?
you've only listened to the show twice.
Okay,
I get it.
So you went down to give the Castro brothers your money, your American dollar.
Oh, I see. Now I'm a bad American for going to Cuba.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Look, I'm not owned by the state. I am not your automaton. Right. I am not a myrmidon. Right. If I want to go see some classic cars in Cuba and see what it's like there now that the veil has dropped, I'm going to do that.
Jerry, listen, you really think the veil has dropped? You don't think that you got the Potemkin version of Cuba?
The Potemkin version. I wasn't on a tour.
You don't even know what Potemkin is, do you? You don't even know what it is.
I can look it up. I don't know what you're referring to at this moment.
You guys, you don't know anything, okay?
Buddy, I wasn't on a tour. I went around and looked at Cuba. I walked.
Right. Yeah, you saw what they wanted you to see.
Well, if they wanted me to see Havana, then yes, I did.
American dollars.
You don't know what Cuba's like.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. You're acting like Cuba is the same as North Korea. Yeah, it was a ship.
What you guys do, spend a little time studying. I'll tell you a good place to start. The Black Book of Communism. Published by the Harvard University Press.
Well, that sounds like a great idea.
Did you hear the first hour and a half? I will read your book. Did you hear the first hour and a half of the show? The first hour?
I don't know when the show started.
Okay,
17.
All we talked about in the first hour was the failure of communism.
Right, but if you guys don't even know what...
Well, wait a second. Hold on. You've just put an offer on the table, Jerry. You said read the book, and I'm going to check... No, we'll just keep talking, and then you don't have to worry about a conversation. I'm going to read your book. I want you to read a book for me, okay?
Okay.
Healing Our World by Mary Ruwart.
How do you spell her name? Last name?
Ruwart.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Great. And then you'll find out about what freedom is. Not nationalism, not bootlicking, but freedom.
Yeah, okay, right.
Just saying. Look, I get
how old are you
it's
guys?
hard.
Oh, here it comes.
Oh, here it is.
Here it comes.
I'm older than Jesus when he died on the cross for your sins.
You're very naive.
I'm not naive. I'm 50 years old, you yuts.
Well, that some people might think that's young.
All right.
See,
I know
he's older
people,
than you, Mark. So therefore, he
there are
knows
United
more.
States presidents that took office that are younger than I am. I'm 48. I'm 50. I'm rounding up.
Well, listen, do your homework before you do a talk show. Okay?
I've been doing a talk show for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful.
On 200 radio stations.
I knew a guy here in Florida that did a talk show, and the more he talked, the less he said.
Who was he?
Well, we won't.
I'm from Florida.
You're talking about things that you have not a clue.
What are you talking about that I don't have a clue about?
You don't know what the Potemkin
is. You
is.
think that it's a good idea.
I just looked it up here.
Was it a ship? It was a ship, right?
I think the Potemkin was a ship, but here's Mandy Patinkin. I probably don't know how to spell it.
Yeah, you guys are idiots.
Okay, Jerry. Well, we're done with you. Goodbye. If all you got is name calling, you don't actually have anything intelligent to say. And, he was sort of suggesting like we didn't know something about communism. We've been looking and observing the failure of
the Communist
communism.
Manifesto on the air a couple of times to find out the 10 planks.
Right.
Talk about it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Very rude. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. And hey, buddy, if you want to try to actually convince somebody of something, like that they might be wrong on a topic, try not calling them names.
Was that the ship that almost fired the missile on during the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Don't ask me. The name sounds familiar. It sounds like I feel like it's a ship, but I'm not going to claim that I know something when I don't. And you didn't claim you knew what it was. So, because you didn't know some piece of history, therefore you know nothing about communism, according to this
battleship
guy.
Potemkin.
There you go. Let's talk to Dave. He's in New York. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hello, Dave. You're on the air.
I just want to say that, happy past Thanksgiving was a couple of days ago.
I just want to say it's a relief to have Dave on the air after that last guy.
Well, we'll see whether or not he threatens to kill us.
Dave, this is not that guy. That's not what Dave does.
I want to let everybody know out there who's listening, I am deleting all
beat us up.
I have deleted all apps on my phone.
Hold on, Dave. Hold on. We're going to bring it back here. We're going to find out why Dave has deleted all of the apps on his phone. I don't recall Dave ever threatening anything to us, Mark.
Yeah, he's threatened violence against us, sure.
I don't think
it's nothing compared to what Jim Witt has done.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can bring up anything you want, but, if it's going to be name-calling, that's pretty lame. It's Free Talk Live.
Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus does not grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Dehibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. That's shopsupertea.com, 818-984-6100, shopsupertea.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Extendovite really works. Just listen to what Wayne has to say.
Extendovite. I have been taking it for about 2 years, and I had really bad heart palpitations. And since I've been taking it, I don't have any major episodes at all anymore. I'm 76 years old, and I still play competitive basketball. Well, of course, I've taken care of myself really good since I was 60, but Extendovite really helped the blood pressure, really helped I used to get really bad episodes of heart palpitations, just skipping beats and double beats. But also I wanted to tell you that I really appreciate your broadcast. They're just really refreshing.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever you want. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And we have been looking into the Potemkin, which there's a couple of different Potemkins, apparently.
Right, there's a general who was a Potemkin. There's a battleship that was a Potemkin that had a mutiny on it. And then
That's what I'd heard of. I'd heard of the ship, but I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, that was in like 1903 and 1905, I believe.
But Olivia, actually, who was on the air with us earlier, she's in our chat room over at discord.lrn.fm. She found that Potemkin Village, and now that she mentioned this, it does ring a bell, was the fake idyllic village that the USSR showed to visitors so that people would be fooled about how successful communism was. So the guy, the rude gentleman that was on the air earlier.
Does he think we're communists?
I'm not sure what he thought. He wasn't really being real clear. He certainly thinks that we don't know as much about history as he does. And so he brought up this, haven't you heard of Potemkin? And, well, we weren't real sure. And so, therefore, he's just dismissed everything.
There are lots of history professors out there that wouldn't make as good of a talk show host as me, as evidenced by the fact that I've been a talk show host for 20 years.
Therefore, he dismissed everything, that we had to say, even though we've been criticizing communism on the air here for well over a decade of having been on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I'm going on too.
And I think what he was suggesting was that you, when you visited Cuba, were unknowingly being shown a Potemkin village. You were being put into, without your awareness, into an area where they were trying to show you the best side of communism and so on and so forth.
Okay, well, if they were trying to do that, then all they did was convince me that communism absolutely, positively could never work. Not that I ever had any doubts before I walked in.
Yeah.
I mean, no one gets more free market than me. The critiques that I have against the United States government are critiques against a government, not critiques against free market economics.
Right.
I believe in free market economics.
That's why we are against the government.
United States government ceases to be free market that I have a problem.
Absolutely.
And I'll extol Cuba as they become more free market. Yes, they have a long ways to go to get as free market as the United States.
But they have put in some reforms in the last decade.
And the United States is going down the list of economic freedom that's put out by the Heritage Foundation.
Every list that's put out. There's more than just a Heritage Foundation.
But a conservative cares about a conservative list.
Sure.
And the Heritage Foundation is a conservative list that says the United States is demonstrably becoming less and less economically free over time, and presumably, if they're checking out Cuba, I haven't looked at the list as far as I don't live in Cuba, so I don't care about where they come in the list. I care about the U.S.
But I bet you it's rising.
But of course, it's rising because they're becoming more free market. They've got a long way to go to get better.
So even though we might not have known offhand what Potemkin was that he was referring to, and he wasn't clear if he was talking about the village or the ship.
Sure,
or whatever.
I mean, I could pop in with some vocabulary word and ask him what that means.
But we certainly know that in North Korea, they do the same thing, because we talked about.
I'm sure they do. They got that hotel that has like 25 floors, but only one or two of them are outfitted.
And they are very concerned with keeping people on a very specific track of places that they can visit, these sort of government-approved places, these show stores that only exist for tourists. The normal people in North Korea aren't allowed to shop there. And so they absolutely have the Potemkin Village thing going, full sail in North Korea. But because we took, and we haven't really even gotten to the story about it yet, but about this Bitcoin guy who went over to the DPRK, to North Korea, and gave some sort of a presentation about cryptocurrency, presumably to the government gang there. I wouldn't have chosen to do that. But in my view, what he did was just exercise free speech. He went over and talked to some people.
And this is one of the important things to point out about free speech, is the founders of this country didn't want it, otherwise they would have put it in. The fact is that the Constitution was bounced back, and the people said, we want a list of rights. And they were pretty clear, and speech was really high on that list. Free speech is basically only an American phenomenon. It's extraordinarily important to freedom, and here's another little fact about it. Free speech doesn't need to be free if the things you're saying are popular.
That's true.
And if you have free speech in the United States, you should be able to have it, according to the United States government, anywhere on the planet. And that means that a person who knows about cryptocurrency should be able to go to North Korea and teach North Koreans about cryptocurrency.
He wasn't revealing state secrets to them or something like that. He was talking about a thing that anybody who's got internet access, which a lot of them in North Korea probably don't, could go and learn more about. Let's get back to Dave, though. He is on the line with us here. He wanted to tell us why he has deleted all of the apps on his phone. Dave, you're back on. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I started to talk about it, you guys immediately went and put me on hold. I think that is very freaking rude.
Well, Dave, it's just the way the business is done. We have to have breaks so our radio stations can play commercials. And in our version of this radio thing, we have what are called hard breaks, which means we cannot avoid them. They always happen where they happen, when they happen. And sorry, you just ran right up against one of them. So go on. What was your point of your call?
Because like the last time I called, you guys didn't put me on hold, and then now you guys put me on hold.
I have a solution for you, Dave.
Put on hold.
Okay, I have a solution for you. Let me tell you what you can do.
Here, hold on.
I'm kidding. Find a salt shaker and a hammer and pound it way up where the sun don't shine.
That's a bad idea.
Anyway,
don't do that.
Can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think there's videos of that online. You don't want to do that.
Don't do that.
Can I continue?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I deleted a whole bunch of apps because, I'm sick and tired of putting my phone is always, my phone looks pregnant, by the way, because, it's always heating up, and, it's just, I'm like, people always tell me to download dick.org, and I don't use that app, whatever. People tell me to use other apps, whatever, blah. No, I deleted every single app on my phone. My phone looks pregnant. It's always hot. I always have to keep on putting my phone in the freezer.
What does pregnant mean? Your phone looks pregnant.
The back of my phone, it's bulging out. It's not supposed to be bulging out.
That sounds very bad.
Your battery might.
It might
said it's
explode.
getting really hot. You said your phone's getting really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a faulty battery, Dave. You may want to go ahead and trade that phone in, or at least take it in for service. If not, get a whole new phone. That could be dangerous.
That sounds like it could really
That's a fire hazard. That's a fire hazard right there.
I'm kind of broke, so if anybody wants to send me a few $100s in cash for Christmas, so I can go out and buy a brand new phone, I'd appreciate it.
What about an old phone? Would you accept a used phone?
My P.O. box, ready? My P.O. box.
No. I don't want your address yet. I want to know, would you accept somebody's used phone rather than a few $100, which you could go spend on who knows what? If somebody sent you a phone, that would solve the problem, right?
I want a new one with it. I don't want an iPhone or whatever.
See. This is what they say.
I don't use iPhones.
Beggars, they say, can't be choosers, Dave.
But the problem is that beggars are often choosers.
Yeah.
Here's my address. Here's my mailing address. Ready? It's P.O. Box.
This is gonna be
What's your real mailing address?
P.O. Box 313, Pleasant Valley, New York 12569.
And what's your name?
My name is Dave. They can send it to HV Guy 313, P.O. Box 313.
What's your last
Pleasant
name?
Valley, HV Guy 313.
Dave Grady.
Pleasant
Sorry.
P.O. Box 313.
Yeah, we got it,
Dave.
Dave. All right.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to send you hundreds of dollars for a new cell phone because they don't know what you're going to do with it. You could spend it on, a drug habit. Do you have a drug habit?
No, I don't. I don't use drugs at all.
Really? So if we sent you a drug test?
I need a new phone. Some guy named Gary up in Canada said, he was going to send me an iPad or whatever. Yeah, right.
You didn't know, huh?
And then he sent me a text message today saying,
why don't you just go out and get a job? Like, what's going on? Why haven't you gotten work yet? What's going on with that? It's the Christmas
I'm looking,
season.
I've been, I fill out all these online applications. I have a list of questions that I usually ask.
I don't think you're looking that hard.
What are your questions?
My questions? All right, I'll read them to you. I will read you my job questions. I got a whole bunch of them.
Okay. From which job?
Probably peppering your
any job,
potential employer with questions.
Hi, I saw your ad, and I have questions that you did not mention in your ad. How much per hour? A weekend's included.
Oh, you're asking. Hold on. You're asking the job?
Is it mandatory to people holidays? Does it pay weekly or
settle down there, Dave? Settle down. Settle
down,
down, buddy. So you're asking a bunch of questions of potential employers before you've even applied for the job? Is that what you're doing?
Because I have questions,
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying here, and thank you for the call tonight, Dave. I understand the frustration, but again, it comes back to the whole beggars can't be choosers thing. If you are needing a job, then you really shouldn't be so choosy about it. Get out there, fill out the applications, follow up on the ones that you think are the most interesting, and it's the Christmas season. They're hiring all over the place, everywhere. Even though it might be temporary work, it's something.
Right, they want to see interest from you in the job, not in the pay.
Yeah.
Okay, and I understand you're interested in the pay. That's why we all work. But we all have this sort of social, way of being where we pretend that that's not what we're in it for. Okay, so try that.
Thanks for the call, Dave. We got a full hour to go here on the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live. You can join us, 855-450 free.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com. And it's a place you can send any business. And they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,464, silver at $17.02, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,508. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, on Friday, 6 European countries issued a bombshell joint statement declaring their intent to join INSTEX, or the Instrument in Support of Trade Exchanges, a European special purpose vehicle serving as a swift alternative to bypass U.S. sanctions on Iran. Activist Post reports that Finland, Belgium, Denmark, Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden released a joint statement asserting it's of the utmost importance to the preservation and full implementation of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action on Iran's nuclear program by all parties involved. INSTEX is an initiative set up by France, Germany, and the UK in January 2019 to provide humanitarian and sanctions relief to Iran after, in November 2018, the SWIFT network suspended Iranian banks under Washington pressure, months after Trump pulled the U.S. out of the nuclear deal. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Each year in the United States, millions of people participate in a mass ritual in consumerism that has come to be known as Black Friday. Many people decide to stay home and shop online, while many people decided to boycott the sales altogether. The most popular Black Friday boycott is known as Buy Nothing Day, and it's been going strong for 24 years now. The boycott was initially organized by Vancouver-based artist Ted Dave, who wanted to promote a day for society to examine the issue of overconsumption. That's a quote. The Mind Unleashed reports the first official boycott kicked off on the same day as Black Friday in 1997, and has spread all over the world in the decade since. Advocates of Buy Nothing Day say they hope to encourage mindfulness about consumption habits that will last for years to come. According to the National Retail Federation, more than 174 million Americans shopped from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday in 2016. The average amount that each shopper spent that year was around $335. A new study published by animal welfare group World Animal Protection has arrived at some stunning findings about pork products being sold at Walmart. The report, published by Food Dive, found that pork samples purchased from Walmart contained superbugs, antibiotic-resistant bacteria. 80% of samples tested from Mid-Atlantic Walmart stores were resistant to at least one antibiotic. Additionally, 37% of the bacteria in the Walmart samples were resistant to 3 or more classes of antibiotics. The Mind Unleashed reports that in some, about 27% of the resistant bacteria found on Walmart's pork were resistant to classes categorized as highest priority critically important antimicrobials by the World Health Organization. 160 samples of pork were tested by researchers at Texas Tech University. 80 were from Walmart, and 80 were from a competing national retail chain in the Mid-Atlantic region. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Already struggling to get by on the basic necessities of day-to-day life, lunatics across the nation confirmed today that they are now barely able to afford the quickly rising price of car meat.
I've got 14 Barbara Streisands to feed and 3 more on the way. Day and night they shout, "We're hungry, Admiral. We want grade A Honda loaf. We want Nissan truck."
I just want to know what Bruno Mars plans to do about this. He sits around all day eating Audi ribeye and limousine bouillabaisse while we scrape by with taxi shanks. Meanwhile, the men at arms are still overseas fighting the war on Wheel of Fortune.
For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live. Toll-free number here if you want to join us.
Free Talk Live.
It's 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We are kicking off the third hour of the program. And, of course, you can take control of the airwaves. Coming up, the man who went over to North Korea to teach a class about cryptocurrency has now been charged by the federal government, arrested for violating the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which apparently negates freedom of speech. With you in the studio here tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts. First, though, you can bring up anything that you want. Plus, the numbers are in from Black Friday, and we'll run some of those by you. But first, let's talk to Mike. He is calling us from Washington State, listening to KBKW there in Aberdeen. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Hey,
great show.
thanks.
I got a bunch of. Can I get that address for that guy? I've got a whole bunch of lithium batteries in my old phones. I think he might need those.
I didn't write it down.
Sorry, Dave. I was just kidding. I called about car tabs in Washington State, but I also wonder how that caller that, now that I know that you don't know anything, I wonder what he thinks of Dennis Rodman teaching Kim how to break dance
and play basketball.
Rap, and play basketball and NBA secrets.
State secrets.
Anyway, so the car tabs in Washington State, we got a guy, his name is Tim Iman, and what he does, he gets these initiatives for $30 car tabs, and of course the voters always vote on the $30 car tabs.
What is a car tab?
We have to, every year you renew this sticker, and you pay $30.
Okay, so car registration.
And
gotcha.
for the year, and it shows what year and all that stuff,
right.
and that it's
okay.
current.
It's a different slang term for it or whatever.
I hadn't heard it
term.
before.
I'd never heard that term.
Oh, that's what it's called in Washington.
Gotcha.
Anyway, it's just called a car tab. You go renew your tabs. Anyway, so then every 2 years they overturn it, and then you pay based on the value of your vehicle. So if you're driving a brand new Dodge pickup, you're sucking, you know what?
Yeah.
So my concern. So the problem is that they're saying that when it's $30 car tabs, they can't fund Sound Transit, which is a light rail that they're building here, and they've gotten a lot of it built, but they want to, of course, expand it to every metropolitan area. And then so that's the complaint, why they want to go on the value of your car. But I do not drive, so I don't buy car tabs. But last year I bought a 10-year-old travel trailer that had 9 months left on the plates, the tabs, and the registration. And when I went to put it in my name, I was forced to not enjoy the 9 months that the guy before me already paid for, but I had to pay a whole year at the tune of $1,000.
Woo!
Jeez.
For a travel trailer.
So it seems like if I'm one out of like 7 million people in Washington State that's getting screwed every year, or if they go buy a used vehicle that's got tabs on it already, that's millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. It seems like they could just put that rip-off money right into the Sound Transit. I just don't know how they could even get away with doing that.
So you just parked this trailer and you have to put plates on it?
I just parked a trailer. Now, I'm not going to be required to get tabs because I'm not pulling it up and down the highway and enjoying the scenery.
You had to have tabs to drive it to where it was.
But yes, but when I bought it, it had 9 months remaining on the license plate and the tab date. But I couldn't use up that 9 months. I had to repurchase. So they had his money, and then they got my money plus $300 more.
Hold on. Let me see if I can follow this here. So you bought this travel trailer. You said you don't drive. So
Correct.
what are you going to hook it to?
Somebody brought it. The guy that I bought it from brought it here and dropped it off in the RV park, and I put a nice big deck next to it, and I just put it in an RV park.
Then why did you have to, if it was delivered to you, why did you have to go and get the tabs? I missed that point.
Registration.
We have to you have to transfer the title to it's a vehicle. It's considered a vehicle with license plate. So you have to go transfer motor vehicles. These are privately owned things, and they all do that business for the state. But when I got there to put my name on it instead of his, I had to give him $1,000.
$1,000. What year was this travel trailer?
License. 2007.
So it's not even that new.
That's what you get for living high on the hog. Should have got some from 67.
I know, really, because it would not be falling apart already after a year of me living in it.
Right.
Wow. So, they're not. But anyway, I find that interesting. I mean, that's a huge amount of money in used car sales, because that's, even if it's a month or 2 months, the state's collecting a massive amount of money.
Big time.
And then we don't really know where that money goes.
Oh, it's going into the pockets of the bureaucrats and the budget or whatever. They're going to buy some.
I just wonder.
They're going to buy some nice new leather chairs and laptops, and then they'll give away the old ones.
I don't know. It just that to me just seems like an absolute crime against.
Well, everything the state does is a crime against peaceful people, because they've got violence behind it.
Yeah. So this Tim Eyman that does this, and he's been doing this for 25 years. They've been playing this every 2-year game with the cost. Anyway, he's running against Jay Inslee, who is basically a failed governor. That is why you can pitch your tent at City Hall anywhere you want now. And I know people need places to live. But anyway, so this car tab guy that some people hate and some people love is now running against Jay Inslee as a governor, which will be very interesting to see how that goes, because Jay Inslee ran for president. He got booted real quick.
So the car tab guy, who is the car tab guy? Is this the guy advocating
his name is Jay Inslee. He has been advocating and doing that for about 25 years. This has been going on, where it'll be $30 and then overturned. So anyway, but he is now currently he's going to run against Jay Inslee for governor. Because they're both basically hated, if you're right.
Oh, of course. I mean, one scumbag versus another scumbag.
We have rainbow sidewalk crossings and stuff. So a lot of people love him. But anyway, and lastly, have you ever seen the Buena Vista Social Club about Cuba? It's a movie that a musician made. And what he did was he went and rounded up all these old players, jazz guys that were not allowed when communism, made its fabulous move into Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
You were no longer allowed to gather too many people, and so all these musicians had to not be in bands. It just ended, and they were phenomenal jazz musicians. So this guy went, and they're all like, at this time they were all in their 70s and 60s. They were young when they could not perform anymore in groups because of communism. I can't wait till it happens here. Anyway, he went and rounded them up and got he found out how they were living and all this stuff, and then they put on a show at Carnegie Hall in the United States. It's called the Buena Vista Social Club.
I know I've heard that name, but I couldn't tell you anything else.
An amazing look at Cuba.
Very cool, Mike. Thanks for the call. Thanks for sharing your story tonight. Appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE.
When I was in Cuba, everybody was trying to sell me a CD of their music.
Huh.
As a radio guy, I'm not going to pay anything for a CD of music. You're going to give that to me, because you know how it was. Some band was always sending its CD into the radio station.
Oh, you guys have CDs here. Isn't that quaint?
Yeah, it's nice.
Let's go to Frank.
I'm going to play it
in Delaware. Frank, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, fellas. I just wanted to mention a couple callers back, the gentleman Dave that had called in, and you guys had hit on the topic of communism and why it does not work, and it has never worked, and it will never work, because you got some human beings out here that don't have a work ethic and weren't taught what it means to go out and work for a few bucks and earn that money and buy something with it, and how good it actually feels. They'd rather complain about the work before they even get the job.
Yeah.
So therefore, they'll never know what capitalism is and how it really, really, really is an advantage in this world that we live in. They're just lazy, man. It makes me sick.
That's a great point. Can't disagree with you.
I'm legally blind. I want to share something real quick. I'm legally blind, so I'm on disability. It's not much money. It's Saturday. So I went ahead and worked today on my Saturday, off the books, of course, because, they don't want you working. They want you to live off the little bit of dough.
Right, they're going to take the tiny little check they send you if you try to make your life better.
Yeah, man, I dug 6 footers 36 inches deep, 18 by 18, with a shovel by hand. I didn't use an auger. I went out and I worked for my money today.
Wow.
I made $120.
So wait a minute. Hold on. When you say you're legally blind, does that mean you can still kind of see, but not really?
I could see good enough to get around. I could see good enough to walk and ride my bike to the store and back.
Okay.
I can't see good enough to obtain a driver's license,
Gotcha.
unfortunately.
Okay. That's why you can dig a hole.
Yeah, I could dig a hole better than the next man. My dad always told me, he said, look, man, and back then this is what they did. He said, you got a cripple, you got a disability on you, so you're going to have to work a little bit harder than the next man.
To prove yourself.
And I took, of course, man, and that's what I do. I go out and I earn a little bit extra. It wasn't much, but guess what? It's mine, and now I can do what I want with it.
Great call.
Thank
Thank you, Frank, man. I appreciate the attitude. I appreciate your perspective, man. Thank you. Makes you wonder what Dave in New York's parents were like and how they feel about their son. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here. And we'll get into the North Korea story coming up as well. This is Free Talk Live Saturday show. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Our history classes start teaching the Constitution around 1776 or even later. The foundation of our Constitution goes deeper than that. Without examining the context that gave America its principles and its founding documents, we cannot understand the foundation of our liberty and our constitutional republic. Liberty First University teaches online classes in a way that all ages find compelling and understandable, from middle school to law school. Join us at lfu.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at lfu.freetalklive.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number, if you want to get on the radio with us, it's Ian and Mark in the studio. The number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And I want you to check out local.bitcoin.com. It's a great website allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash, and you don't have to show identification in order to create an account there. And communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted on local.bitcoin.com. So you actually have a global trading platform that respects your privacy. And again, there's dozens of payment methods that you can use. Some of them are higher risk than others. So if you're going to be selling on the site, make sure you do your due diligence and figure out what are the risks involved in the methods you're looking to accept. If you're a buyer and you want to make a purchase, buying from someone who has some trades under their belt is always more advisable than someone who doesn't. So keep that in mind when you go to local.bitcoin.com. That's at local.bitcoin.com. We continue with your calls and thoughts. Jerry is on the line in West Virginia listening to WVTS in Charleston. Hello, Jerry.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Good. What's on your mind tonight?
Okay. Well, here in West Virginia, you really can't own a car or property unless you actually rent your car and you rent your property.
Yes.
Because if you don't pay your property taxes, the government will throw you out in the street. And if you don't pay your taxes on your vehicles, the government will take them away from you.
That's true in all states in the United States.
Well, I think that it's more accurate to say if you wish to use your vehicle, that the government will take that they want to cut.
True. Well, if they catch you driving it without the paperwork, they will confiscate it from you.
Now, it's also true that there are states and there's programs where if you want to pay less for the registration of your vehicle, pardon me, it's relatively easy. All you have to do is, I know that Montana has a interesting project where, Ian, you know a little more about it.
Yeah, Montana. Actually, no, it's Montana where you can, if you have a vehicle that's over 11 years, so 11 and over, that
let me give you an example.
Registration. Permanent
Let
registration.
me give you an example. Michigan, you only pay taxes one time, and that's when you buy the vehicle. I had a cousin who left West Virginia when they were young. They went to Michigan. They lived there 40 years, worked for the Ford Motor Company all that time. They were able to purchase like $65,000 high-end Ford SUVs for half that price because they get a very steep employee discount.
Okay.
They then decided to retire back to West Virginia. So they had to get their license. They had to pay a big tax on those two vehicles. And they thought, well, whatever, they said, you know. The following year, my cousin calls me up. She says, Jerry, something's wrong. They're making me pay taxes on these cars again. I said, well, welcome to West Virginia. You will pay taxes on those cars for the rest of your life or as long as you own those vehicles.
Wait a minute. Just to clarify, you're saying that in Michigan, when you purchase a car, there's not an ongoing car registration fee?
There's a registration fee for the license. But there's no added tax year after year after year.
Right. So some
here
states
in West Virginia, you not only have to pay for the registration year after year, you have to pay a tax on that vehicle year after year.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a scam.
So they decided that it made them so mad that they pulled up and they moved to Florida, and they're always talking about how low the taxes are in West Virginia. Well, let's face it, folks. We're the number one obesity state in the nation. We're the number one drug addict state in the nation.
Wow.
We're tied with Kentucky, I think. But anyway, there's no reason we should even have high taxes. 90% of our taxes are hidden You don't know anything about them. Most people don't know about the taxes they pay here, and so they hide the taxes. I'd rather live in a state where I know up front exactly what I'm going to pay and why. But here, you don't, you see.
But
well,
I'll give
you a quick example. Our homeowners insurance, we pay a tax to the volunteer fire department, okay? We have no volunteer fire departments in our city. So we have to pay for other people's fire, but we also have a fire fee every month here in our city. Well, most people don't know they're also paying for volunteers. That's double taxation, in other words, know.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason a lot of people are moving to Florida. It recently came out on the Cato's Institute's Freedom in the 50 States chart as number 1. And, I think that's going to put pressure on a lot of states out there.
Oh, absolutely. But Florida has only got so much room. Like you say, thousands and thousands of people are moving to Florida, and eventually they're going to have to do something about their taxes there, I would think.
I don't know that, mostly they get their taxation from the big rat and the other tourists that come through. So, a lot of their taxation is offset by the amount of tourists that come through.
Right. And 2 months ago, I bought a 54-year-old motorcycle, and it cost me $500 in taxes.
God.
Now, I didn't think that was right, but they said the lowest tax they have on anything, no matter how old it is $500.
Is this per year?
No, that was for this year, but next year, I don't know what they're going to charge me for it next year. I'll be interested to find out.
So that was like the tax that included the I'm buying the vehicle tax, the one-time tax on the transfer? Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, well, but I'll also pay on it for as long as I own the bike. Now, it won't. Hopefully, it won't be $500, but still, that's a lot of money for a 54-year-old little motorcycle, right?
Is there some kind of chart you can go look and see what is it per axle, per year, or whatever? How they assess these taxes? Do you know?
I'm sure there is, buried deep in the websites of the state of West Virginia. I'm sure there you can read that. You know?
Nobody wants to comb through a bunch of law.
Right.
It's so hard to read. It's so hard to parse that stuff. Jerry, thanks for calling and sharing the hell of taxation there in West Virginia. Definitely appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Now, New Hampshire's got that too, right? Where there's a yearly...
So one thing that we did at one point here is that when we purchased my wife's car, this has been like 2012 or something, we bought it in New Hampshire so that there's no sales tax and registered it in New Hampshire. But we bought it at a specific month so that 6 months later, because there's some rule about 6 months. 6 months later, when she went down to Florida, she could register it in Florida, where the registration fee for a new car is
it's flat.
Yeah, it's like
flat fee.
$40 or $50 or $60. I don't even know.
Here they hit
changed.
you by the year of the car.
Right here, they'll hit you with a tax basically on the value of the car. And
is it the value of the car or the age of the car?
They have a book, and they determine. So if you bought a cheap new car, that would cost you less than if you bought an expensive new car.
I see.
So it's about the value of the car.
See, I've never actually registered a car in New Hampshire, so I have no idea what the process is like.
And there's ways to work around these things if that's what you wish to do.
All right, 855-450-FREE. That is our toll-free line. We're going to go to Discord here in just a moment. Gene, the Christian anarchist, waiting patiently, wants to talk about communism. We're going to get into that. Plus, the story about the man who has now been arrested in the United States for simply going and giving a technical presentation about cryptocurrency and blockchain technology in the DPRK in North Korea. 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us, you can. Also, our Discord server is discord.lrn.fm. That's where you can chat with other Free Talk Live listeners during the show and around the clock. There's more coming up here. The live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live continues.
Anarchapulco is the world's foremost conference for voluntarists, thinkers, and activists, held in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Share ideas on how to live free and escape the clutches of the state. Their unparalleled lineup of speakers will discuss entrepreneurship, investments, politics, philosophy, health, sustainability, lifestyles, and personal relationships. Stay in a world-class resort resort and enjoy the sun and beaches. February the 13th through the 16th, visit anarchapulco.com for early bird pricing and 10% off with coupon code FTL. The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio waves. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, Ian.
And Mark.
And also, want to make sure you know about betterplans.net.
Are you sick and tired of Washington politicians making decisions about you and your family's health care? Obamacare, which was supposed to be affordable health care with a choice, has turned into high-priced insurance with little choice. The team at betterplans.net believed that there was a better way to do health insurance, and they figured it out. Call them at 800-714-1802 to get fast and a free quote. The truth is that you can get affordable health care plans that cost hundreds of dollars less per month. However, the first step is to become aware of
how the wool is being pulled over your eyes. Download their free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets, at betterplans.net. See their sample pricing for plans every bit as good as the major providers' plans for as little as $145 per month for a single, and even greater savings for families and businesses. Gain access to educational videos and a free quote plus your free ebook, Dirty Little Secrets, at betterplans.net. Obamacare enrollment deadline is December the 15th, so don't delay. Visit betterplans.net or call 800-714-1802. 800-714-1802, betterplans.net.
Let's go to our Discord lines where Gene, the Christian anarchist, is on the line in Tennessee. Go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about communism. I'm glad to see that that guy was a new caller, and hopefully he'll keep listening. And I guess I know something about communism, seeing as how I've been going to China for 25 years, probably about 30 different trips. And
this guy, if he were on the line, he would accuse you of trying to fund the Chinese Communist government by going to China. How dare you?
Yeah, and there's no arguing that point. If you go to China and spend money there, you're obviously helping the their economy to some extent. Now, the amount of money that I spent there certainly couldn't it's not going to buy them a new jet or anything. But certainly you can make that argument. But I think it's a silly argument to make because, number one, he says you don't know anything about communism. But then he says you have to go there to find out about it. Well, if I go there to find out about it, I'm going to spend some money there. And he's just getting what he knows about communism out of a book. So what I've learned by going to China, and other than China, I really haven't been to any communist countries that I can think of.
Well, I don't like this. If we're going to parse terms on communism, because everybody likes to parse terms, I don't think communism and in its reality is even possible on planet Earth. But a country that's run by a communist party tends to be socialist in so much as state ownership of the means of production exists.
And that's absolutely the case with China, because even the Chinese communists will tell you that communism is the ideal. That's their heaven that they hope to obtain someday, and they're using socialism to get there. Now, of course, 20-some years ago, China opened up their markets to a certain amount of freedom and allowed people to start their own businesses. And this is when the prosperity blossomed in China, was when they said, okay, if you want to start a business, go ahead and start a business. We're going to leave you alone. And they pretty much did that for the first 15 years or so. They were hands off with businesses starting up and people doing their entrepreneurship and putting people to work and making money and selling goods that were much better than the previous round of goods. But in the last 10 years, and this is one reason I've decided I don't want to ever go back to China, they have started to go exactly the opposite way. Now they're starting to clamp down. They're starting to tighten up. And you see what they're doing with Hong Kong. The Chinese Communist Party is trying to put the screws down on Hong Kong and restrict speech and activities in Hong Kong, which they're not supposed to be able to do for another 25 years, according to the treaty that they signed. But
I think the people of Hong Kong should be able to have self-volition. I think they should be able to vote right now to say we want to be independent, or we want to be part of the United States, or we want to be part of Great Britain, or whatever. And I think that should be respected. The problem is that sometimes things like what happened in Crimea occurs, and those votes can be twisted.
Yes, and I don't necessarily agree with voting and all that, but I mean, as far as self-determination, people should be able to determine their own life and their own direction. And that's not possible at all under a socialist form of government, because they require you to participate. It would be one thing if it was voluntary socialism, if such a thing could exist, but they absolutely require you to participate in their socialist form. And as such, you cannot possibly have liberty or prosperity, because they go hand in hand. And if you want to have prosperity, you've got to allow liberty. That's why China did prosper, is because they allowed a certain amount of liberty 25 years ago when they opened up the markets and said, you guys can start your own little corner businesses, you can grow, you can get bigger, and things like Alibaba sprouted out of that. And now, they've passed a new law in China that says all companies and all individuals that are Chinese are under a new law that says they are part and parcel to the Communist Party. If they know any state secrets, they are sworn to secrecy on those state secrets. If they find out any secrets that would be beneficial to the state, they are bound by law to tell the CCP about those things that they learn. So basically, it makes everybody a spy. If you're Chinese.
I mean, isn't that what the caller was saying about the guy that was going to North Korea and teaching them about cryptocurrency? I mean, essentially saying that we are all the minions and myrmidons of our particular governments, that the planet Earth is... it's the colors of the flags that are draped over each one of these countries where the biggest armies stop fighting, and that we are all just serfs owned by these states. I mean, I know these states exist. I'm not running off to China or North Korea to give them, what I know about the United States, which is not much. That's not readily available on the internet, but. I mean, it's to me, it's reprehensible. The Chinese government is saying that all these people are responsible for state secrets that they've never taken an oath for, and I think the same is true for any government, including the United States.
Well, it's definitely not been the case, at least as far as the United States. We are not sworn to secrecy or to be agents for the U.S. government.
Tell that to the guy who's facing criminal charges for simply going over and giving a presentation in North Korea. He's been charged criminally for that. Just talking about blockchain.
And I've never heard of any such charge before. But the way the Goonerments is going, they're just inventing stuff every year. They invent something new to charge people with. That's the same with the gun laws. They're just inventing things and saying, well, now you can be red flagged, and you can be red flagged for whatever the heck we choose. And if you're red flagged, you have no due process rights. We can break down your door. So the problem is that they don't follow law, and law does not apply to them as far as they're concerned.
Neither does the government here.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm talking about our government currently.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about our goons, not the CCP goons, but the CCP goons, it also applies to them.
Well, that's why I said to the guy who called earlier, who was all over us on the communism topic, was, the difference is really only in degrees. And he was offended by that. My God, how could you compare our loving government with North Korea?
It is by degrees. I mean, that's why they have charts that rate these rate frame things like freedom.
Thanks for the call tonight, Gene. Appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's why we get paid the big bucks.
Yeah,
we can spit it out.
Stammering.
More coming up here. No, you don't get paid big bucks in radio. Just in case you were wondering, 855-450-FREE. You can join us in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live, which are coming up.
Do you feel like many of us? All the distractions in the world taking our minds and focus off what really needs to get done day to day? Well, Janess has a dietary supplement called Mind to help with mental distraction, and it supports memory function. Go to gcnlife.com now to check it out. You're only at your best when your mind is at its best. Go to gcnlife.com or call toll-free 844-443-6637. That's gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
How would you like to hit the range tomorrow with a brand new gun? Because the United States Concealed Carry Association wants to give you a free gun right now. That's right, completely free. The USCCA is here to give every responsibly armed American the education, training, legal, and financial protection they need. And today, they're giving you not one, but 4 free chances to win $1,000. Simply text GCN to 87222 to get entered now, and you'll get 4 free chances to win $1,000 for any gun you want. Text GCN to 87222 and get entered today. But remember, these free guns won't be around forever, and you can't win if you don't enter. So don't miss out. Just text GCN to 87222 and get your 4 free chances to win now. That's GCN to 87222.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us here in these remaining moments. We have enough time for you if you jump on right now at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Mark.
We're going to get back into your calls and thoughts, and also want to invite you over to freetalklive.com. We got archives that go back for more than a decade, a variety of features, including an email list. You can sign up for that over at freetalklive.com. There's an email sign-up box near the sort of the center top area of the website. You can just pop your email in there, and then we'll send you an email, usually on a weekly basis, to keep you in the loop with what's going on with Free Talk Live. It's a good way to follow us. Of course, you can also follow Free Talk Live on various social media. We are on Twitter at twitter.freetalklive.com. You can follow us on the better than Twitter service, Mastodon, because it's decentralized, over at Toot, T-O-O-T, toot.freetalklive.com, or Telegram at telegram.freetalklive.com. As we go back to the phones, to the fun, it's Super Saiyan Jim on the line in Indianapolis. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey there, guys. How you doing this evening?
Good. What's on your mind?
Taxes. I got big questions about taxes, guys. There's
All
a fellow around here named Tyra Jamel Moore. He's a sovereign. He claims he's a tax expert. The man says he hasn't paid. He owes back child support for 25 years. I'm sorry, $25,000 in back child support. He doesn't pay any taxes on his home because he doesn't own his home. So he's a sovereign. He gets to legally own guns. So I'm kind of confused here because, like I told the gentleman earlier, Wesley Snipes tried the same thing. He went to prison, but he beat some of his federal tax evasion charges. So, yes, he he got. I don't know exactly the specifics. I'm paraphrasing, but he got like, let's say, 10 charges, and I think he beat like 8 of them. That's why he didn't get like a long time. So, Federal Reserve notes are illegal according to Tyra Jamel Moore, True Freeman. Yeah, okay, so the guy's name is True Freeman. You can look him up on YouTube. He says Federal Reserve notes are illegal because they're a promise to pay, but apparently the U.S. government doesn't have any money and Fort Knox is empty. So I just want your guys' take on what's really going on with these sovereigns and this tax evasion stuff.
All right, so there's a bunch of questions involved here. First off, if you've got child support, you probably should be taking care of your kids. Second, I'm just hold on. I got to answer this stuff. Fine,
okay.
Whatever. I just got to answer stuff, and you give me 3 different things. Secondly, when it comes to Federal Reserve notes being illegal, yes, the United States government owes money that a Federal Reserve note is a promise to pay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a promise.
It's a debt note. That's what a note is.
Of the United States government to pay the United States Federal Reserve. So you aren't being cheated in that sense.
Well, they're cheating you.
Well, that's because they inflate the currency and then rob people of their value because money represents value.
The system's designed to cheat people.
Yes, but people opt into it by using it, and you can opt out by using cryptocurrency. Check out Bitcoin.com. All right, and then as far as sovereigns go, you're as sovereign as they let you be, is the way I can see it from here. Yes, I've seen people that put in some really great presentations about you file this little piece of paper and you tell them this or you this, that, or the other.
I've told them and they don't care.
And, well, but you haven't told them everything. But there was a time when you stood up in court and said that I don't consent, and they, recognized that by throwing you in jail for 4 days. So, you're as sovereign as they let you be. I don't think that the United States government just missed the whole, it's, that making taxing people. I mean, like, it's just some trick that they put out the federal income tax. Well, come on. I mean, then they just have to pass a law that says the federal income tax is legal. So I don't believe that that's
most of the judges
legit.
And the juries believe that the federal income tax is
and that's
legal.
Honestly all that matters. Is if a jury believes that the income tax is legal, then you're gonna have to go a long way to convince them otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with the tax freedom advocates like Larkin Rose or Irwin Schiff or Ed and Elaine Brown. These folks who've argued for decades that the federal income tax is a voluntary system and that you have to opt into it or whatever. But unfortunately, if they want to target you, they will. And it doesn't matter what kind of forms you fill out. It doesn't matter what statements you've made publicly. If they want you behind bars, they're going to figure out a way to get you there.
So the whole thing with the federal income tax is somebody told them that it's legal, so they believe it, even though history has shown that that's not the case. So if enough people tell you to do something through generations, it's just common law because someone says so, pretty much. Right?
Yeah, well, and also most of the people in America have bought this story, and so even if somebody shows up in front of a jury of 12 normal Americans and points out to them and makes a case of, well, look here, it says here it's voluntary, it says here all this evidence that has been collected by many of these tax freedom advocates, the jury's gonna be like, well, I pay my taxes, and I'm mad because you don't pay your taxes. You're going to jail, son. And that's the end of the story.
Yes. The thing with the tyrant fellow and the child support, he blatantly said this himself. He owes $25,000 in back child support, and he hasn't been to jail. Over here in Indiana, I guess because I don't have any children. I don't get on child support. I guess in Indiana they're pretty lax with that, which is weird because he hasn't had a driver's license for the last 25 years. So make sense.
We actually have a co-host, Jay Noon, on our Wednesday night show who doesn't drive with a driver's license. I love those guys, the people that really, truly believe these ideas and they put them into action, because there's a lot of talkers out there. There's a lot of people who say things about living free, but they don't actually do it. And then folks like Jay Noon, our Wednesday night co-host, he actually does it, and it's a real inspiration. So I mean, where the truth is on all these issues, it's really hard to discern as far as the legality of things, because I think there's a lot of strong arguments for what a lot of these sovereign folks have to say. But the strongest argument is the men with guns who will throw you in a jail cell regardless of whatever it is that you try to claim. That's how these people rule us. Is they use violence and the threat of violence to get their way. It doesn't matter the words that are written down. Those are just a formality. It's just what they can point to, and ultimately it's just ruled by force when it comes down to it.
Well, yes. Well, hopefully your co-host does that. Hopefully, if he does get in an accident with someone, he'll cover it. Because I know Mr. Jamel, he's actually been filmed hitting people and driving away and not covering their, damages. So that's kind of
whether or not somebody has a license or not isn't a factor on whether they're honorable, right? So
or whether they have insurance.
Well, he doesn't have insurance either. He's just straight free. He's just bare. Just balls to the wall.
Well, in New Hampshire, you don't have to legally have insurance either. It's not required. It's a good idea. People probably should do that.
It's a good idea to have uninsured motorist
I agree with you
too.
I agree with you, Jim, that it's a terrible thing for somebody to be out there advocating for sovereignty but not taking responsibility, because that's ultimately what a sovereign should be doing, is being responsible for the acts that they create. Because if you're just out there just, hurting people or destroying their property,
you're an outlaw.
And you're like, I'm free. Well, no, somebody should put you down like they would put down an outlaw in that case. Hey, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate the question. David is in San Francisco. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, how are you?
Good, thank you.
A couple of different things. I heard you talking about, the idea of socialism and communism and sort of comparing it to America. There are mom and apple pie arguments that bring people together to create a country. And so when you look at united you stand, divided you fall, and you start looking at America, and you start looking at the taxes as used to pool together our money to be able to build things that we all get to use, like swimming pools in the summertime, or schools or universities or good roads, good bridges, whatever, that we the people can pool our money together to build it. And I heard the guy complaining about the fire tax. Out here in San Francisco, back in 1850, just right at the time of the gold rush, there were 6 different times that an arsonist tried to burn down the whole city. And at the time, there were privatized fire departments. And if they got to the fire at the same time, they would fight each other in the street to see who would get the right to put out the fire. And in the meantime, the people's house would be burning down. So the idea that we came up with a publicly owned utility, so to speak, a publicly owned fire department, so that there wouldn't be fighting in the street to see who'd get the right to the spoils.
So what you're saying is that a fire department is a corporation, a large insurance corporation, offsetting the cost of putting out fires onto the individual or onto the community at large? Yes, that's true.
I wish we had more time to talk about it, David, but we're at the end of the show.
This is how corporations control us.
Feel free to call in the first hour so we have more time to discuss things like this tomorrow night, David. And in the meantime, you can join us online between now and then over at freetalklive.com. Hope you have a great weekend.
You can be the smartest person in the room on the topic of the Constitution if you watch this free webinar. Liberty First University is online training on the principles of liberty and the origin, proper application, and defense of our founding documents and the principles they contain. You will receive an education worthy of the highest institutions of learning, as if the founders were teaching it. Join us at lfu.freetalklive.com to watch the free pre-recorded webinar. Watch now at lfu.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Questioning Authority is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,464, silver at $17.02, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,508. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, on Friday, 6 European countries issued a bombshell joint statement declaring their intent to join INSTEX, or the Instrument in Support of Trade Exchanges, a European special purpose vehicle serving as a swift alternative to bypass U.S. sanctions on Iran. Activist Post reports that Finland, Belgium, Denmark, Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden released a joint statement asserting it's of the utmost importance to the preservation and full implementation of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action on Iran's nuclear program by all parties involved. INSTEX is an initiative set up by France, Germany, and the UK in January 2019 to provide humanitarian and sanctions relief to Iran after, in November 2018, the SWIFT network suspended Iranian banks under Washington pressure, months after Trump